And good afternoon, everybody. And today's theme of the meeting is memory of the fallen soldiers. And I also welcome the guest, Nazim and Doris. And I would like to discuss a safety topic before we start ahead. So, this safety topic is wearing of shoes. In case of due to winter, there is quite a few accidents happen due to trip and falls. So I think the shoes should be wear properly. So the sole of the shoes should be uh, made enough by using some sand solution or traction spray, and adding salt and rubber glue will also make it produce more tractions. Basically, it has the shoe has to be have a sufficient friction between the snow and the snow and the ground, so that it should not slip. And so I request everybody to follow the guidelines, and this will help in reducing the slippage. Today, agenda of the meeting is Wordmaster will be given a Wordmaster award will be presented by Shelley Varun, and joke of the day will be given by Toastmaster is Steven, table topic master is Shreya, first speaker is Slay, and second speaker is Bob, general evaluator is Monica, table topic evaluator is Tammy, first evaluator is Masood, second evaluator is Ruby, grammarian is Benjamin, our counter is Masood, time keeper is Tim, watcher is Ruby, videographer is Steven.
Just a correction, our counter is Isabella.
Oh, sorry about that. So I will request Wordmaster to present the word of the day.
Thank you, Ashish. I am the word master of the day, and the purpose of the word master is to introduce a word that people can learn from, become educated about, and possibly use during the meeting. Do something crazy today. I am not going to share my screen. I'm just going to tell you the word. It's put in the chat so that you can follow along. I posted it to everyone. The word of the day is prolific. And you use this word when you want to describe something that is abundant, something that happens that many people put out some sort of a saying or some production. So you would use the word like this. Bob Matheson is a prolific speaker, or Ruby is a prolific writer, or Shara is prolific timekeeper, and I would say Leah is a prolific producer of agendas for meetings. So you use the word prolific when you want to describe something that is being done a lot or can be found in abundance. In a way, it is an adverb because it describes an action. So prolific is the word. You can find it in the chat. See if you can use it. Thank you.
Thanks, Shelley. So I think today with this weather, we have prolific amount of snow. So fair amount of snow. So I will now request joke master to present the joke. And I request Masood to please present the joke.
Thank you, Ashish. I'm trying to be a prolific joker. Well, I was going to give a somewhat longer humor. Then I checked it with my boss, Shelly, and she said, it's too old, it's too long, it may not be appropriate. So I found something more inappropriate. Today is the theme is in the memory of fallen soldiers. And for the past, especially year, we have been dealing with some health challenge in our family, and that's regarding the memory. Unfortunately, we are having one of our family members having Alzheimer, and boy, this is very difficult situation. However, there are funny moments in it as well. So we try to get everything with a lighthearted, and we try to, while we are dealing with it, we try to have fun with it as well, especially with the person. Now, my joke today is about something about forgetfulness, and we hopefully that we don't forget the memory of the fallen soldier. There are these three guys that are talking to each other, and they're bragging about their forgetfulness. One of them says, when I go to the stairs, sometimes I forget, am I going upstairs for something, or did I just come down? The second guy says, well, this is nothing. I have forgotten my wife's name for many years. So that's why I call her honey. The third guy says, oh man, you guys are terrible. Thank God I'm doing very well. Knock on wood. Who is it? Mr. Chair.
So thanks, Masood, for presenting the average joke. So I will now request the Toastmaster to start the meeting ahead. So Toastmaster's meeting is Stephen. So I request Stephen to go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today's theme is Remembrance Day, which is exactly today. And during these days, we will see prolific topics all over. To start with this session, we will have the table topics session first. And the purpose of table topics is to have the impromptu speeches so people can practice. And today's table topics master is Sholay Roshani. Please go ahead, Sholay.
Hello, everybody. I have written some questions for our table topics. Some of them are Memorial Day, Remembrance Day related, and some are not. As Steve said, table topic helps members to think on their feet and to be able to answer quickly, which we need in our professional life and also in our personal life. I just like to ask to see if there is anyone who's not comfortable joining into table topic. You can just raise your hand and I make sure I don't ask you a question. If you like to not to be chosen. Okay, it looks like everybody's comfortable. Is there anybody that likes to be the first one to answer a question about table topic? Please raise your hand. Shelly, go ahead. Hey, our table topic winner, of course. Shelly, what habits or skills you have learned and developed during pandemic time that you like to keep after pandemic?
What can I imagine doing that I never did before because I never could imagine a pandemic? I can tell you that during this pandemic, I have learned many new things. I can think of 3 things I can list for you that I never did before, and now I'm practically an expert. For one thing, I decided I should learn how to needlepoint. So every night you can find me listening to podcasts, following along the craziness that's happening in the United States, sewing carefully, one by one stitch at a time. It's very calming, and I definitely will keep this up after the pandemic. The other thing that I started doing was designing my own needlepoints. So I do watercolors and graphic designs so that I can answer when people say to me, oh, what a beautiful inspiration you did on your needlepoint. Did you design it yourself? And I can go, yes, I did. And the other thing that I'm doing that I never did before is hosting a show, an episodic show in which I am the host, and I interview various artists. We've had quite a great following to this, and I'm very proud to say we get about 100 people registered. I never did such a crazy thing before. Perhaps you know, because I'm a member of Toastmasters, an enthusiastic member, that I love to speak. And in fact, I love to talk without any notes. So without the pandemic, I never would have learned to stitch. I never would have graphically designed my own needlepoints. And I certainly never would have been a talk show host. If you shoot for the moon, even if you fail, you will land among the stars. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Mistress.
Thank you so much, Shelley. It was so beautiful. You're an artist and you have combined it with needlepoint sewing. And amazingly, you are hosting a show that over 100 people have registered. Wow, congratulations, Shelley. Is there anybody else who likes to share? And I can ask a question. Doris, you look enthusiastic. Would you like to go?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Would you like a question about Memorial Day or any question?
Probably Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Yes.
What does puppies remind you of?
Well, this is a very, very pertinent question. So not only do I love poppies personally when they grow on the field, but my family history has involved a lot of trauma because of the war, specifically World Wars I and II. I have actually lost an uncle in World War II as a teenager. He was drafted in very, very late. And they're very traumatic stories. And in this pandemic, it has given me a chance to look at the family history and write a bit of my father's history and look into that a bit more and learn from it, but also to leave some of the traumatic past behind. And so I just wanted to share a little snippet out of that. The positive things is that they had to leave the place that they were born in, which is now the Ukraine. They were a German settlement in that area. And when the Russians came, both in World War I and World War II, the Germans were taken out. And they had to leave in the middle of winter. My grandma, for example, had a child, a baby at less than a year old. And I can't imagine doing that trek like that. They were entrepreneurs. And they kept going and then came to Canada to start a new life. And I'm just inspired by that. Forget the feminists today, but I'm so inspired by people who have gone through this extreme trauma and still came out and never, ever gave up. And that is a very positive thing, where you have this hope. And for that, the poppy reminds me of that past and that persevering spirit. And I hope that in my life, I can at least retain that pioneer spirit, that positive hope, and never, ever give up. Thank you very much, Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Doris. Thank you for sharing us your past and perseverance spirit of your uncle. I wish you would have told us his name, but maybe you can share that with us later. Who likes to talk about table topic next? Is there any volunteer? Nazim, you look interested. Would you like to talk? No?
Actually, we may not have time for this, the third
Okay.
one.
We don't have time. Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Madam Table Talks Master. Now we are going to move to our formal speech. Today, we will have two speeches. The first one is Leah, and her speech evaluator is Masood. Masood, would you like to please provide us her speech goal and objective?
Yes, absolutely. This is Leah's pathway is innovative planning, and this is the level 1 second project and the first speech of the second project. The title is How to Say No, and the time is 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of this project is for Leah to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech, which we look forward to hear that in near future. The purpose of this speech is for Leah to present speech and receive feedback from myself, the evaluator. Master, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Masood. When I asked Leah about the theme of the day, she said, Remembrance Day is important. And if you are looking for any copies but hard to find out, those are available at Safeway, Co-op, and Sobeys. And usually we can see everywhere from other superstores as well. Of course, Leah is our current president, and I believe she's my colleague in department-wise, mechanical engineer doing rotating equipment. Without further ado, Leah Villanueva, how to say no, Leah Villanueva, sorry.
Thanks, Stephen and Masood. Well, over the past 6 months, while I watched others learn how to bake sourdough or learn new skills during quarantine, I myself was struggling to find any free time at all, and I was quite envious, actually. I said yes to so many things without thinking it through that I didn't have time to spend on things I wanted to, like Toastmasters. It felt like I didn't have control over my own schedule, and I started feeling almost burnt out many times. I wondered what I could do to make sure I didn't feel like this going forward and learn how to say no effectively for once. Growing up in an Asian household, you learn a few things that are really great, but they can also bite you in the butt later if you aren't careful. And those two things that I learned were, number 1, respect your elders, and number 2, don't talk back because it's disrespectful. And because of those two things, when I was asked to do something by someone older, I learned to always say yes. Would I complete my homework before watching TV every day? Yes, of course, because my mom said so. Would I grab my uncle a Coke from the fridge, even though he was fully capable of doing it himself? Yes, immediately. And then would I learn later to boss my younger cousins and sister around because I was finally older than someone? Yes, that too. But little did I know that I would become this person in the workplace as well. That childhood learning and also being a tiny female in a male-dominated workplace made me even more eager to prove myself. So I've become that prolific people pleaser that instinctively says yes without asking any questions or even considering how I actually feel about it. And so this summer at the brink of burnout, I Googled how to say no, and I didn't really think I'd come across anything actually useful, but I did. The Harvard Business Review released an article on this topic with some really great information that I want to share with you today. And if you learn anything from here, please do share it with any other people you know in your life like myself that instinctively says yes or that are taking on too much on their plate. And so the first thing that the article recommends is to first assess the ask. That means thoroughly figuring out exactly what it is the person is asking of you. They liken this to doing the due diligence you would when you're assessing a financial investment. You should seek out more information so you can actually make a sound decision. Because when you're saying yes or no to a request, you're deciding where to invest your time and resources. So give the choice careful consideration. This is the list of questions they provided, and they recommend actually jotting this down and taking notes so that you can look back on these notes later. And after you've taken in all the information that you can, it's great to share this list with the asker to confirm that you're actually on the same page. Once you have all of this information, you now can evaluate if this is something that you should give a well-reasoned no to or an effective yes to. A bad no happens when you haven't actually assessed the ask properly, and sometimes it leads to you missing out on a meaningful experience, or it could hurt the asker's feelings. Whereas a good no is all about timing and logic. This slide here breaks down the saying no or yes process into a few gates. The first is the question, is this allowed? So when someone asks you to do something, you can ask yourself, is this even allowed? Is it against the rules? And if it's against the rules, then you can give a straightforward no. You can also help reframe the question to help that person actually make this ask something that falls within the rules so that it can be considered. If the ask makes it past this gate, you can move on to the next and ask, can it actually be done? So if you can ask yourself, does this actually fall within my skill set? And if it doesn't, will the person allow you the time to learn these new skills so that you can do what they've asked you to do? If they do allow this, then it's a great opportunity to learn new skills. But a lot of people can't actually take on more responsibilities because they're too overloaded with other commitments. At this time, you can respond with, I'm already committed to other responsibilities and projects. I'd love to do this for you at a later time. If that's not possible, I'd love to be of service to you somehow in the future. And that's a great respectful way to say no and say that you'd like to help them sometime in the future, but you just can't take that on now. And if the ask makes it to the last gate, gate 3, should this be done? This is when you can use your own judgment to determine if that ask is even worthwhile. At this time, you can ask more questions to learn more, or if you do actually understand the ask fully and it is not seeming worthwhile to you, some good ways to respond are, that's not something I should say yes to at this time because the likelihood of success is low, or the necessary resources are too great, or it's not in alignment with my current priorities. But when saying no, timing is really important. You should try not to say no right away because that can seem really dismissive, but you also don't want to string the asker along. So try to give your answer as soon as you can. Now, if you can give an effective yes and it's past all these 3 gates, you can say yes. And a good yes is something that aligns with your mission, values, and priorities. It's something that you can do with confidence, and it's an opportunity for you to build new skills. It's something with a high likelihood of success, and it offers significant potential benefits. If you do want to say yes, they do give you some key points here. The first is to clearly communicate why you want to say yes. And lastly, agree on a plan of action with the person asking you. But I really want to share this slide on this quote. I found it to be a good one that I'd like to keep. Every good no makes room for a better yes, one that adds value, builds relationships, and enhances your reputation. So if you're like most people, you have too much to do and too little time. But like this slide says, the only way to be sustainably successful is to get really good at saying no in a way that makes people feel respected, and to say yes only when your reasoning is sound and you have a clear plan of attack. So after reading this article, I myself feel like I now have the steps to move forward and recover from my people-pleasing ways and hopefully grow into someone that can effectively say yes or no, not just yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. That really echoes my background as an Asian person, and we are kind of tended to be humble. I think that's a good nature. I do need to learn from you as well how to say no. Thank you for that. Let's pause for 1 minute for evaluation. Okay, I do see the time is up now. And our next speaker is Bob Matheson. When I asked him about the theme of the day, he mentioned to me that Remembrance Day is important to remember the sacrifice of those fallen soldiers, but also to remember the contributions of those who have served, and for too many come back as changed individuals. Bob's speech evaluator is Ruby Gona. And Ruby, would you please provide us his speech, the goal of his speech and the purpose?
Thank you, Stephen. Bob is presenting his first speech in researching and presenting. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Speech timing is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, Ruby. He mentioned that he also mentioned that many times our life can change in an instant, and his speech is example how things can come out of the blue, but can change your life forever. So Bob Matheson, all about arthritis, Bob Matheson.
5 years ago, this last September, I was training for the Tucson Marathon. I'd run Tucson once before. In fact, this was actually going to be my 15th marathon. I was doing a training run on kind of in the pathways to the west of downtown Calgary. And I was at about the 32K mark when all of a sudden I had this searing pain in my right knee. My first thought was, no big deal, I'll just walk it off. Well, after a few moments, it was obvious that wasn't going to work. My second thought was I'd been training too hard. And in fact, I had been training very, very hard. And I really wanted to qualify for the Boston Marathon that year. I'd been doing a lot of track training as well as a lot of long runs, and I thought it had probably just caught up with me. Anyhow, after a few days of rest, it still wasn't better. So I tried physiotherapy, had a number of doctor's appointments, ended up with having ultrasounds, x-rays, a couple of MRIs. And at the end of all that, I was told that I have arthritis in my right knee. My first question to the doctor was, so when can I run again? the doctor's answer was very succinct. You can't. For somebody whose life was running at that point, I really felt that the whole world came crashing down around my ears. I realized that I really didn't know a heck of a lot about arthritis, even though I had known a number of people that had had it. The Mayo Clinic describes arthritis as a swelling or tenderness of one or more joints. There are actually over 100 different types of arthritis. The most common types are osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and gout. Osteoarthritis occurs when the cartilage, which is kind of the end of your bone that is a smooth, slippery part, starts to break down. Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease where your body actually attacks its own joints. And gout happens when you end up with a buildup of uric acid in your system, creating uric acid crystals. Infections or underlying diseases such as lupus can also cause other types of arthritis. So why did I get arthritis? Well, there are a number of risk factors for all of us. The first one is family history. Both my mom and dad had had arthritis, so maybe I should have seen it coming. Age is also another risk factor. As we get older, there is a better chance of it happening. Sex. Women are more inclined to get rheumatoid arthritis, where men are more likely to get gout. Previous joint injury. Even though I'd never had an injury to my knees, I had, as I mentioned before, run 14 marathons. I had also run somewhere between 40 and 50 half marathons and goodness knows how many 10K races. And I'd spent hours and hours and hours of training. So I'm not blaming my running for arthritis. But the bottom line is if I was predisposed to get it anyhow, it was probably a contributing factor. Obesity is the last risk factor. And if you're overweight, if you're carrying too many pounds, it just puts extra stress on your body and especially on your knees, your hips, and your back. So again, this can increase the risk. So what is the cure for arthritis? Well, the bottom line is there isn't one. The kind of ultimate solution for a lot of people is joint replacement, but obviously this should just be done as a last resort. Medications, be it over the counter or prescription, can definitely be helpful. Topical solutions can definitely help in a lot of circumstances. My family doctor a number of months ago suggested that I take a glucosamine sulfate supplement, and I've been doing that for about the past 6 months, and for me personally, it actually has helped. There is some research that a Mediterranean diet can help. It can help reduce blood pressure, inflammation, and can help with weight loss. So take some of the stress off of your joints. For older adults, an everyday exercise routine is critical. Swimming and walking are both very, very good exercises. And of course, weight management is key as well. There's a few common myths about arthritis that I'd like to talk about now. Well, the first one is arthritis is an old person's disease. 3 out of 5 Canadians that get arthritis are actually under the age of 65. Arthritis is a normal part of aging. Well, 57% of seniors never get arthritis. Myth number 3, arthritis isn't serious, it's just minor aches and pains. In the first 2 years that people have arthritis, it's really, really important that they get early and accurate diagnosis in order to just mitigate long-term damage. And the last common myth is that joints with arthritis should be rested. If you're hurting, you have pain in your joints or inflammation, the kind of the go-to for most people is just to rest it. This is the absolute worst thing they can do. Too little exercise can cause muscle weakness, more pain, and stiffness. So to summarize, arthritis isn't a single disease. There's over 100 different varieties. It's also not an old person's disease. Unfortunately, anybody can get arthritis, including children and teens. There is no cure for it, but with early treatment, you definitely can mitigate the damage and discomfort to a certain degree. I'm incredibly lucky. I'm able to walk, I'm able to hike, bicycle, swim, cross-country ski and downhill ski without pain. The only thing that I can't do anymore is run. Now, in the future, I'm sure that I'm probably going to need a knee replacement, but I'm really, really hoping that that isn't going to happen for a very, very, very long time. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Bob. That is really an educational session. I forgot to introduce you that you are one of the new members, and you are the realtor. But I do not just know you are also running for marathon. We are pausing for the rest of the 1 minute break, which may be only 30 seconds left. Checking the time, I think it's ready to move to the next session. And the next one will be the also important session for evaluation of all these speeches. And can I call Jim for the time for those table topics speech and prepared speeches?
Sure, Stephen. The first tabletop speaker, Shelley, 1 minute 50 seconds. Doris, 1 minute 52 seconds. Right on. You guys were right on timing. And the first speaker, Leah, 7 minutes and 20 seconds. And the speaker number 2, Bob, 6 minutes 32 seconds. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you, Jim. And our table topics master is Tammy. So please go ahead, Tammy.
Thank you very much, Stephen. I'd like to say to both of the table topic participants today, excellent job and very well done with being able to talk for the minute 50 seconds. Shelley, I know you're going into a contest here, like right directly on the 21st, and I will recommend that over the next couple of weeks, continue to do table topics as often as you can. You are incredible at them. And your paraphrasing of the question of not taking up so much time and repeating the question, I thought was brilliantly done today. As you picked the key words out and you paraphrase it and you got your mind, and it give you a few extra seconds to then actually choreograph your mini speech, which was fantastic. You had very good humor. It was very well organized. Liked how you do the 3 points and you actually show us and indicate 3 points. And then you actually even had time to do the summarization at the end. Recommendation for yourself, as you do have good gestures and as you're talking, is maybe change up the vocal variety a bit more. And maybe with that whole stunned part of, oh my God, can you believe I am, and maybe get closer into the camera where you can actually get to us and say, you believe I actually have 100 people attending my sessions on my episode shows? I've never done that in my life. Just to help add that little bit more humor and get into where we can connect with you just that little bit more. Loved it though. You are brilliant at doing table topics. And I have no other recommendations outside of that for you that maybe could just help take it up to that next little notch. But amazing job, and being in with the 152, like the 150 is excellent. Doris, you're an amazing. I know you have mentioned you have been in Toastmasters before, correct?
Yes, and it's table topics that I always kind of need to get, the experience with. That's the one thing that I'm kind of weak on, yeah.
I would not say you're weak on table topics. I would think you're giving Shelley a run for her money here this morning. A minute 52, extremely well done.
Thank you.
The passion and sharing that personal connection and that story and how you weaved it all together within what does a poppy mean to you was incredibly done for the short amount of time you had, and actually sharing some of that personal story of what your family experienced and went through. So we got to know you a little bit more, which I thought was very well done also. Vocal variety a bit more, maybe, Doris, would be something, and maybe some gestures. And I know with what you were saying as a topic was a little bit hard for gestures today. So it's just future ideas. And no need to thank us.
Thank you.
No need to thank us. We're great that you guys are willing to be the participants for table topics, and actually we all learn to grow from them. So well done. Very inspiring. And I want to say great job and congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, Tammy, for great evaluation of the table topics. Formal evaluation for the prepared speech starts with Masood for Leah's speech. Please go ahead, Masood.
Thank you, Stephen. Leah, where are you? And I need to see Jim as well. Okay, I see you both. You're such a prolific, informative speaker, if I said it right. I loved your opening with your story and your culture. The reason is I relate to that culture exactly in my own culture. We don't talk back to our elders. And if anybody is older than us, they boss us around. Anything they say, we have to say yes. I remember once I told my brother, he asked me for a glass of water. I said, fridge is there, go get it yourself. I get disciplined just because I said no. And that was not an effectiveness in my assessment of saying no. So, and what I think you did a fantastic opening with this story. And what I want you to please to keep this in mind, because I will get back to it in a little bit later. I have some feedback for you though. The first is your gesture. You presented this, you opened it with your own story. That was fantastic. And in your story, because it's your story, a little bit of a gesture would be good. It felt to me, it was something like a reporting. You were reporting to me. And the same with the vocal variety. So when you're using that, especially using a humor, I believe a humor in your speech, it's a great icebreaker as an opening and makes you yourself a little bit more comfortable to come to the speech. So I think it is important that you a little bit of humor into your speech. Now, in terms of your presentation, I enjoyed your presenters. It was full of information. However, it was worthy. I would recommend if you could use images more rather than just lines of writing. It's difficult to write. However, because the information are so important and it really relates to all of us with our challenges that we are facing, I think you can provide handouts if you want, before or after the meeting. The fourth item I would like to mention and give you feedback is that you talked about them a lot. That is Harvard University. It was great that you gave the credit to them, but make it your own. That's I think that would be that then you can relate with your audience a little bit more. I told about the handout. That would be fantastic if you could provide us, because this is a challenge that I face personally with it and I relate with it. So I would like to see handouts and I will learn about it. But I'm telling you, you're an inspiration to us. Your conclusion was fantastic, and I look forward really to hear your next speech, either this one in a new version or another one. Thank you very much. Mr. Postmaster.
Thank you, Masood, for your prolific feedback and evaluation. Our second speech, Bob, and his evaluator is Ruby Guna. Please go ahead, Ruby.
Thank you, Stephen. I actually have a unique job today because Bob's speech is meant to be informational, is meant to be well-researched. So the researching and presenting speech is actually unique in that it is meant to contain information. I will start out with the things that I observed right from the objective. The objective to be met was the speech must have been well organized and well delivered. Well organized and well delivered it was, and here's how. Bob started his speech with a personal story, in fact, a personal problem that he faced, and then went out in search of a solution. The speech navigated from there to what he came across, the three types of arthritis, risks of arthritis, cure, if any, for arthritis, and the common myths. Therefore, he walked us through taking him from his pain to the public knowledge available to how we can use and bust some of these common myths. So objective of organization met, objective of delivery met 100%. The other thing I noticed immensely was in a research and presenting speech evaluators need to check the source of this information. Bob used sources from Mayo Clinic, Arthritis Association. We also check on stats. We use stats such as 3 of 5 Canadians under 35 are observed to have arthritis. So he had 3 key stats sprinkled on. This is a great learning opportunity for those who want to evaluate research and presenting speech as well. Bob hit the nail and prolifically used a number of key information. The most important thing I loved about the speech is the slide. Every slide had 3 points. When presenting to an executive committee or talking at management level, 3 points on a slide is all you need sometimes to convey the information. So well done on that. My recommendation for improvement, especially on a content-heavy, information-loaded speech, such as researching and presenting, or if a Q&A in the future, is implement deliberate pauses. When transitioning from slide to slide, with the previous slide and the next slide both having heavy content, apply deliberate pauses so we could absorb the data, or implement other filler mechanisms so we can transition from the data. Everything I heard today stuck in my mind, and I remember it. Well done on delivering a well-researched, well-delivered, facts-backed speech. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Ruby. Another prolific evaluation speech and feedback. Now we'll move to the next step of the general evaluator, who is Monica. And Monica will get assistance and support from Grammarian and our account. Please go ahead, Monica.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Could you please, Grammarian is, could you please provide the information of the Grammarian to Isabella, please?
No, it's me, Monica.
Sorry.
It's me.
Then, yeah.
Thank you. So let's start with the usage of the word of the day today. I noticed Ashish, you used the once for prolific, and Masood used twice, Stephen used 3 times, Leah used once, and Ruby used once. Congratulations. And for the table topic speaker, number 1, Shelly, I really like you use the phrase, if you shoot the moon, even you missed, you will land on stars. And for the table topic speaker number 2, Doris, I really like you use the vocabulary pertinent, traumatic, perseverance. These are very pertinent fitting in the context of your speech. And so for the improvements, I so when we speak, when we are saying look forward to, we should use look forward to hearing rather than look forward to hear. So just be careful. And also, like one guy, when we tell a joke, like one guy says we should use a past tense instead of present tense. That is my opinion. Okay, so that's the grammar report. Back to you, Monica.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. So could you please the Masood is accountant? Are you the accountant?
No, Isabella is our accountant.
Thank you, Monica.
Sorry, I was so I stopped. Yeah, thanks, Isabella, please.
Thank you, Monica. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, here is my counter report. Ashish used multiple times. Shelley had 6 during the word of the day, but table topics, there's 1. Masood used multiple times. Doris had 2 Shore had 2 Stephen used and multiple times. Leah had 1 and Bob had 1 Also, Tammy had 2 Ruby had 2 and lastly, Ben used multiple times. Back to you, Monica.
Okay, thank you, Isabella. Just want to start my video so people can see me and know me. It's a great meeting today. So from start, so I was 2 minutes later. So when I joined the meeting, so the meeting already started, which means the meeting started on time. It's a great job, Ashish. So and the meeting went very smooth. So the chairperson Stephen and also a speaker very smooth and well. I liked your judge. Introduced each part with very smooth transition, and so I like you. And even the some place you when the share table topic master ask if there's any more time for the third table topic speakers. So you said you just immediately remind, so the time is short. So and quickly move to the next step. Is great observation. Thanks. And also you when you after Bob speak, so you introduced him. He was the new, not the newest member, the relatively new person. So it's great. So transition is very smooth. So I move to the evaluator Tammy for the table topics. So Tammy is you are the experienced evaluator. Is good. You give the great insight and prolific evaluation to 2 table speakers. So well done, excellent job. So this is really the things I have to learn. I will learn and win. The evaluator for the first speaker is Masood. So you use the great word to evaluate Leah speak, and also give her the suggestions and the improvement, and also her topic also related to your personal experience. Is great. It's a fantastic job. Move to the second evaluator for second speaker. Is the Ruby. So you give the insight evaluation to Bob's speak. So and point out his speakers like nature, it's research and information. So you cited a lot of information from Bob's speak. It's great, and I think it's and also move to the timer. So Jim, so you did a great job. So the one thing I noticed that is, so you used the indicator of the color is not solid. So it do the job, but they do the job. But I would, if possible, to use a solid color, will be just for the personal preference. And for the grammarian pen, you just give the full of the report for the grammarian, and also about sharing the great words. And Doris used the great words, so it's great great observation. So Isabella, you did a fantastic job. So you point out, you just count everybody's how many times of the us. So you did a great job. Thank you. I think the meeting is well done, and everybody did a really great job, fantastic job. Thanks. Back to Toastmaster. Back to Chair Stephen.
Thank you, Monica. Over the time, I learned from our fellow Toastmasters that we needed to be time cognizant as well. So we have two guests today, and I would like to have Nazim as the management representative to provide us any feedback and or observation. Nazim?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, first of all, again, thanks for inviting me. It was great to attend today's session. As I mentioned earlier, last time I attended this session, the Toastmaster session, was 2 years ago. And after listening or being privileged to attend today's session, first of all, I'd like to thank organizers of the Toastmasters. It's really important to carry it. After listening to all the stories, to all the topics presented, it's just in my mind the importance of this setting is becoming so critically important. This setting is important for various individuals, for various communities, whether it's schools, businesses, public sectors. It allows people, or creates a foundation for people from different communities that I mentioned, to sharpen and learn the public speaking skills, which are important. They're in everyday's life. I also would like to thank all the presenters. Great topics. Thanks for sharing the passion, the encouragement, and the knowledge. I learned a few things here from some of the topics. And in closing, I would like to say, keep doing what you're doing. As I mentioned earlier, this is very important. And on my part, I will do more. I will try to attend more of your sessions. So there is no 2 years gap between the sessions I attend. Maybe it's less than that. So again, thanks everyone for today's presentations, and again for inviting me.
Thank you, Nazim, and we hope you can join us as well. Okay. And although we are running a little behind time, but we still give another opportunity to Doris, who's the guest twice, second time now, to share some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to stay, and I'm just wondering if you can add me to the list. Would that be a possibility? Like just for like the theme of the day and things like that. Do you guys send it out prior to the meeting, or you just?
Yes, we do. Yes, we
okay.
do. And also it's available on the Easy Speaker as well.
Oh, okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. No, I enjoy the sessions. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to do table topics today as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Doris, and we wish you can join us as well. With that, I'm turn over to Ashish, Mr. Chairperson.
Thanks, Stephen. So I'll request any member or anybody has any question or announcements. So please let me know if there is any announcements or any questions in the meeting.
I just want to mention that December 15th is our last meeting this year. Leah has sent a request. We need a chair. We need a bold person to be a chair, and hopefully we can have one. If you're interested, please send an email to Leah and myself that we can arrange for that.
Well, I feel Doris might be interested to be the planner for Christmas. Are you?
What does that involve?
It's just a Toastmaster, but it has a topic. The topic is Christmas because.
Oh, you mean the table topics?
And no, it's chairing the whole thing. It's doing the party.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Sorry. Okay. I just felt I had a spark. I saw a sparkle in your eye when it was about Christmas, so that's why I thought. Sorry.
Well, yeah, just send me information, and then I can, if you can give me some more, sure. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I'd love to help with that.
I can send you the copy of what we did last year.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay.
I do have a shout out before you guys all leave. I am looking for some support with our Division D contest, which runs from Saturday morning from 9 a.m. till noon. I'm looking for timers. I'm looking for a second sergeant at arms. And I'm looking for someone to help with certificates in the background. So I am looking for some support to help run that meeting. So if you guys got an opportunity, and thanks for those that have responded to me saying that they have other commitments, which I completely understand. But thank you very much. It's on November 21st from 9 till noon. Okay, thank you. I got to head out. I got to go to another meeting.
Great job, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with this, I adjourn the meeting.
Great job, Ashish.
Thanks for coming, Doris.